Joy, the fact that you're backing a country
their democracy
that
is not like the
slaughters
United States of
homosexuals,
America.
that slaughters people for their religious beliefs,
in the United
them.
States,
it's crazy that you're
people
like,
who are
go Iran.
LGBTQ people can't even serve in the military under the president you prefer.
Okay, but
under,
they are. Get married,
oh, I'm sorry. They're only a little bit.
We're not
discriminated against.
We're not killing them.
They're allowed to live, but they're not allowed to serve in the United States military. They're being persecuted. They can't have their stories told in school. The United States is not exactly a beacon of human rights for gay people.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome to yesterday's news channel, where we watch CNN so you don't have to. Hey, you saw the title, so when your ears are bleeding 1.5 minutes in, remember, this was your choice. Let's get into this and just get through it together, all right? On Tuesday's episode of Newsnight with Abby Phillip, CNN gave the public what we've all been clamoring for: Dennis Rodman's return to cable news. Joy Reid's return to cable news. The two conservatives on the panel didn't let a single one of Joy Reid's lies slide. They called out her manipulative framing, exposed her spin, and honestly, it wasn't even that hard considering she was defending Iran and trying to use the LGBTQ community as a prop to make her case. And I think you'll find it's very fair for me to say with full confidence, she has not lost a single step in the ridiculousness category. Anyway, let's watch the two conservatives on the panel expose Joy Reid for the shameless grifter she is and crush every one of her almost unimaginably stupid points. Let's go.
Assessment, we'll see how much of it proves to be right. It's 7 people inside the DIA who've leaked to CNN. Congratulations, you got your moment in the sun. There'll be more assessments that come after this, and then we'll get a true picture of it. But we do know that their 3 key sites are piles of rubble today. That is a step forward. It's good for peace. It's good for the United States.
I find it rather extraordinary that we are very casually having a conversation about the tactical success or failure of dropping a 3,000-pound bomb or two on a sovereign country that did not attack us. We are failing to unpack or even address, as we're discussing whether or not it was effective how we bombed Iran, whether Donald Trump was correct in saying we obliterated their facilities, and not asking, why on earth is the United States bombing a country that did not attack us? What on earth are we doing there at all? And why is it that there is this arrogance in the West and in the United States to say that we get to decide who can have nuclear energy? We get to decide that, and not just decide it, we get to act on it and drop bombs on a country that didn't attack us. We had no business dropping bombs on Iran. And so the question of whether the tactic worked or not, to me, ignores the fundamental moral question at hand. And I think that I'm not alone probably among Americans who are saying that this was something that we had absolutely no right to do.
But Americans recognize that for 46 years, Iran has been at war with us, starting with the hostage crisis. They've killed thousands of Americans. They supported the war against us in Afghanistan. They've built proxies and they've destroyed multiple countries. Iran has declared war on the United States. Death to America was their mantra. The United States has been a nuclear power, obviously, since 1945.
And dropped bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. We're the one country that did it. Let me ask you a question.
I want to address your
point. The American people understand that the United States plays an important role in the world. I am thrilled that the United States is trying to police the proliferation of nuclear weapons. Imagine what the world would look like if it was otherwise. And I think that to throw away
the United States would still be the only country that has ever bombed another country with nuclear weapons. And let me ask you one question. Why did the Iran hostage crisis take place?
So certainly, I'm asking you fundamentalist radicals took over the government who hate the West.
Why did they take over the government? Why?
Because they're religious jihadis who want to eliminate Western society.
They hate our way of life. They hate our way of life.
Or they overthrew the Shah of Iran, who we imposed on Iran because the Dulles brothers, one at the CIA and one at the State Department, decided that the oil beneath the soil of Iran belonged to BP and belonged to us. And when Mossadegh, who was the leader of Iran, the democratically elected leader of Iran, said that we would like to audit BP because we want to know if you are cheating us or paying the people of Iran based on the oil under their soil. And they said, you may not audit us. And then we overthrew him and he wound up dying in prison because we decided that we, in our arrogance as a country, got to own their oil. And wait a minute, no, one moment. And so the hatred of the United States had to do with the hatred of the Shah, who brutally repressed the people of Iran for 26 years until he was overthrown within Iran because he was not their natural king. They didn't want a king any more than we wanted a king. The bottom line is the arrogance of the United States' foreign policy. We act as if people act in a vacuum, and that nothing we do has ever led to the hatred of us in other countries. And I'm not saying that hostages should be taken, but you just said because they hate our freedoms. That's BS.
No, they hate the Western world.
She hates this country so much, doesn't she? Her take is just absolutely disgraceful. She's sitting on CNN acting like Iran is some innocent victim, asking, why are we bombing a country that didn't attack us? As if Iran hasn't spent the last 4 decades attacking us through proxies, killing our soldiers, and chanting death to America like it's their national anthem. This is the kind of moral blindness that only exists in elite media bubbles, where history starts the moment a Republican does something, and everything before that just vanishes. Iran hasn't attacked us. They've attacked us repeatedly. They've armed Shia militias in Iraq that killed hundreds of American troops. They've funded Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, all sworn enemies of the West. They hate us here just as much as Joy Reid. Maybe not that much. They've tried to assassinate American officials on U.S. soil, and now they're enriching uranium in defiance of every international agreement they've ever signed. But Joy thinks the real scandal is that we dropped a bomb on their nuclear facility. No wonder you're irrelevant, Joy. That's not a scandal. You didn't break anything. It's a win for global security. And on cue, she throws out the tired, anti-American revisionist history like it's something really profound. Well, in 1953, we overthrew Mossadegh. All right. And it was 70 years ago. Iran didn't become a terror state because we hurt their feelings in the 1950s. They became a terror state because they're run by religious extremists who believe it's their divine mission to destroy the West. This one ain't about oil. It's about ideology. And pretending otherwise is a dangerous delusion. Joy says the U.S. is arrogant to decide who can have nuclear weapons. No, as I seem to be saying more and more in these videos, that's leadership, Joy. You think the world would be safer if we didn't stop regimes like Iran from going nuclear? You want to live in a world where people who hang gay men from cranes and burn American flags at Parliament have a nuke? And whatever floats your boat, but don't act like it's some moral high ground to let tyrants build bombs in peace. That's not humility or kindness. It's what your party is all about. It's cowardice dressed up as compassion. Back to it.
This is not a story about one bomb. Iran's capabilities have been massively degraded over the last year and a half. Israel has done a remarkable job of destroying multiple armies, full armies. Israel has absorbed 28,000 rocket attacks, and this little David has defeated this massive Goliath, and that opened this opportunity for the United States. And yes, there is a sordid history, but the United States, since 1945, has basically guaranteed and overseen the greatest period of peace and prosperity in the world relative to all other points in human history. And the United States is
but Goliath is the United States. The United States did not start.
Versus Iran.
Did not.
No,
Hold on.
murders of Tehran.
First of all, one moment. 2 nuclear powers, the United States and Israel, bombed a non-nuclear power, which under the Obama administration signed a deal to decrease their enrichment of uranium. They signed that deal under President Obama. Donald Trump came along, abrogated, and ended that agreement such that they could begin enriching again. And Joe Biden came along, did not put that agreement back in place. Iran has been outside of that agreement since President Trump's first term. Did they in that time build a nuclear weapon? They did not. The 16 intelligence agencies which assess this for a living, it is their only job, have already concluded that they were not attempting to
Wait,
use. But no. One other question.
Brad, hold on one second. Just
Capabilities by Israel. It
Thank
is a miracle.
Two nuclear powers bombing a non-nuclear power.
Wait a
And you know,
minute.
do you know how I know?
It's a strategic triumph by the United States is so much better off than
This
we
sounds
were.
like the
World
Iraq
safer.
War. You
World
sound
safer.
like,
Wait a minute,
oh my
wait a
God,
minute.
2003 wants its history.
I want to go back to
right now. We have
Back to the
this
neocon argument.
Brad has been wanting to get in. Brad, go ahead.
Joy asked
Yeah.
a question earlier. She said, you allege that the United States has not been attacked by Iran. Iran backed militias that attacked United States forces 170 times in Syria, in Jordan, and in Iraq. You know who said that? Joe Biden said that. That's why he authorized F-15 strikes against Iran.
But by the way, Joe Biden is the same president who has allowed Israel in an unrestrained manner to slaughter Palestinians in Gaza. So I'm not sure that Joe Biden is who I'm looking at. I'm not sure Joe Biden is who I'm going to for the moral authority here. The moral authority here. And the bottom line here is the way that we know that Iran did not have nuclear weapons is that if they had nuclear weapons, Israel would not attack them. The reason they're trying to get nukes, and probably Saudi Arabia is trying to get them, is because an expansionist power in their region keeps threatening them and actually bomb them.
Well,
And
okay,
actually
all right.
bomb
You
them.
think it's okay for
And the
Iran to have
bottom line,
nukes?
Joy,
I don't think
Joy,
it's okay that Israel
but
has
Joy-
nukes either.
Ask Iran,
And
is
so
it
the
okay
bottom
that
line
Iran
is
has nukes?
Israel does not even subject its nuclear weapons to the IAEA. And so my question is, should anyone in the region
But Joy,
have
this
nukes?
is not
But they
just about
want nukes
this is not
because-
just about nukes. It's also about Iran being a state sponsor of terrorism and chaos and violence and death around the world. So I mean, there's that too.
It's huge. And no democracy. How about democracy? Why are we doing this? Because Israel has a democracy like the United States of America. Joy, the fact that you're backing a country
their democracy
that
is not like the
slaughters
United States of
homosexuals,
America.
that slaughters
I'm
people
sorry.
for their religious beliefs,
In the United
slaughters them.
States,
It's crazy that you're
people
like,
who are
Iran.
LGBTQ
That's nuts.
people can't even serve in the military under the president you prefer.
Okay, but they can live,
they
they
are.
get married, they
Oh,
can
I'm
get
sorry.
husbands,
They're only a
friends.
little
They can have
bit.
children.
They're only a little
We're
bit
not killing them.
discriminated against.
We're not killing them.
They're allowed to live, but they're not allowed to serve in the United States military. They're being persecuted. They can't have their stories
You're gonna
told in school.
compare
The United States is
gay
not
rights in
exactly a
America
beacon of
to
human
Iran?
rights for gay people.
This is a regime in Iran. This is the world about.
Something that absolutely drives me nuts about people like Joy Reid and the left is this constant habit they have of hijacking entire communities to prop up their crumbling arguments. And Joy Reid just gave us a masterclass. In the middle of her unhinged rant trying to paint the U.S. as more oppressive than Iran, Iran. She rattles off 2 points to prove how marginalized LGBTQ people are in America. Her best evidence, the best 2 points she could make right off the top of her head. 1, they supposedly can't serve in the military. 2, they're persecuted in the U.S. I'm just going to ignore 2 because what does that mean? You got to give me a little more, Joy. Now, you all let me know in the comments. I may have missed something, but to my understanding, gay men can serve in the military, lesbians can serve in the military, bisexuals can serve in the military. There's no ban on LGBTQ people serving. This is just classic leftist sleight of hand, hoping that you're too distracted or too afraid to call out the lie. What Joy's really talking about, as you all know, is Trump's transgender military policy. But instead of arguing that directly, she tries to blur the lines and pretend all of LGBTQ America is banned from military service. It's just dishonest. I mean, it's everything I've said, it's manipulative. Frankly, it's insulting to anyone watching that has a brain. Oh, I'm telling you, I'm glad I don't have to cover her as much anymore. Something else that really gets under my skin. This idea that if you identify a certain way, you automatically belong to the political left. If you're gay or bi or anything else under the LGBTQ umbrella, you're supposed to nod along while Joy Reid weaponizes your identity for her argument. So for this question, I'm speaking to my gay viewers directly. Regardless of your politics, don't you ever just want to say, hey, stop speaking for me. This isn't my fight. Don't drag me into your talking points. And I know you all don't need me or anyone else fighting your battles, but for some reason, here's the reason it gets under my skin. Isn't it insulting to you to be patronized and used like that, because it's blatantly obvious that that's all they're doing. It's emotional blackmail dressed up as moral high ground. Again, another page straight out of the Democrat playbook. So please, if you have an opinion on this, let me know in the comments, because if you're all not that upset about it, then I guess I can let it go. But it just irritates me. I guess it's a double-edged sword, because she's exhausting, but it puts a smile on my face, because I know takes like these are why people tuned out to her, why she doesn't have a show anymore, why you never see her anywhere. And I think she has a podcast or something. You ever hear about it? Anyone talk about it? Any hard-hitting interviews come out of it? Because now the market decides who they get their news from. She's not propped up by a staff of 8,000 and an $8 bajillion company. No one gives a shit. Joy, you had a nice run. Your gimmick lasted far longer than I think anyone hoped it would. But people are tired of being told they're oppressed when they know they're free. They're tired of being used as props in a narrative that doesn't represent them. And I can pretty confidently say we're tired of elites like you using their identity as a shield from criticism. I know we're not all falling for it, but I pray that more people are waking up to our BS too. Anyway, that's it for this video. Hey, if you're about to click off, just give me a couple minutes for a quick announcement. In just a couple of weeks, I'm launching memberships for yesterday's news channel. It's not a cash grab. This is a forever thing. We've got a great community here. So I want to open more channels of communication between all of us. I completely understand it's not for everybody, but it's for people who support and like the channel and actually want more. Exclusive bonus videos, early uploads, a private Discord where we don't censor the truth. And I'm rolling out the membership program with what I think is a really cool promotion. I'll keep it vague, but the first 20 Diamond members to sign up are going to get perks that nobody else will ever. They're going to be offered this one time. And let's be honest, the channel's blown up. I'm going to be an enormous star. So why not get in on the ground floor? I mean, the prices are only going to go up. And real quick, I've got a really important announcement. Gary Finch, you are an absolute legend. You were the very first person to sign up for memberships back when there were 0 perks and nothing to gain, just blind faith. Please reach out to me at the business email in the description. First of all, I'd like to thank you directly for the support, and because I'm so grateful, I'd like to give you a lifetime membership at one of the highest tiers, totally free. Think about that. Maybe you only signed up once and plan to cancel the next month. That's like in a week. But surprise, whether you end up loving me or hating me, you're stuck with me now, Gary Finch. I'm going to keep dropping this message until we connect. I mean, not forever, but long enough to give you the thanks you deserve. So thanks, Gary. Otherwise, as always, thank you so much for taking a couple minutes out of your day to watch my video. It really means a lot to me. Never forget Jesus loves you. See you guys.